Let's watch AOC sound off on Republicans for their recent actions against immigrants, their unconstitutional actions against immigrants, might I add, and the plans they're lining up to go further. We've spoken about Trump attacking birthright citizenship, about the chaos from ICE walking the streets and card checking brown people, and now AOC shreds this bill that Republicans are attempting to pass through the House.
We stand here just 2 days after President Trump gave unconditional pardons to violent criminals who attacked our nation's capital on January 6th. And these are the people who want you to believe, who want us to believe that they're trying to, quote unquote, keep criminals off the streets. When they are opening the floodgates. I want the American people to know what is in this bill. Because in the guise and in the wake of tragedy, we are seeing a fundamental erosion of our civil rights. In this bill, if a person is so much as accused of a crime, if someone wants to point a finger and accuse someone of shoplifting, they will be rounded up and put into a private detention camp and sent out for deportation without a day in court.
It's on its face hypocritical here. They just want to demonize immigrants because they can use it as a point against the Democrats, despite them having far lower levels of violence than US-born citizens, lower levels of crime overall. This has been consistently throughout history as well. As to the actual bill, it's exactly what AOC described. It's deportation and mere accusation before trial, before conviction, which is a violation of due process, which is a violation of that pesky 14th Amendment and that pesky Constitution. Convenient how MAGA hates the Constitution when it doesn't benefit them, but will pretend to defend it adamantly when it does. And for those who care, by the way, yes, there is far precedence established that even undocumented immigrants are considered persons who then under the 14th Amendment have right to due process. That's both through law and in the Supreme Court. But hey, Republicans, party of the Constitution, am I right?
Without being found guilty of a crime, they will be rounded up. That is what is inside this bill, a fundamental suspension of a core American value. And that is why I rise to oppose it. If you're a dreamer, all someone has to do is point a finger and you will be rounded up. And we have seen moments like these happen before. In the Patriot Act, in the wake of the travesty of 9/11, a fundamental suspension of American civil liberties. That is what we are seeing here today. Mr. Speaker, you may wonder why so many of our friends across the aisle who care so deeply about the rule of law happen to be so desperate to pass this bill after they are unleashing people who attacked police officers here on this Capitol into roaming our streets, who are publicly saying now they want to get a gun. Suddenly, these folks care about public safety? I don't think so.
It comes down to them wanting to bend the Constitution to allow those in power to force compliance to those who don't fit in their worldview, which is a large part of what these amendments and the Bills of Rights and all of these things were added into the Constitution to prevent. When people talk about things that make America the greatest country in the world, these are the things that actually do. It's not capitalism, how the right wants to sell it to you. This way we can continue the same economic struggles we've been having while they strive. It's these liberal processes that are built into our democracy, right? The right to due process, a fair trial where you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. These are the things worth protecting in America. These are the parts of the American experiment that make us great. And it's the same people trying to convince you that it's not that it's them being allowed to own 20 homes is why that America is great, is trying to tell you to roll back these processes in the name of racism at this point. But who knows when you're the next group who's susceptible to it, right? And as we'll see, also privatization is a large motivating factor here. It's always privatization with conservatives. Remember that.
Look no further than the price tag of this bill, $83 billion. They know that it can't be paid for. They know that the capacity is not there. And you know what will be there? Private prison companies are going to get flooded with money, who give this money, no doubt. I want folks at home to look. Look at what members of Congress are invested in private prison companies who receive this kind of money, and look at the votes on this bill. It is atrocious that people are lining their pockets with private prison profits in the name of a horrific tragedy and the victim of a crime. It is shameful. It is absolutely shameful. And Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude with this. In a few months, there are members of Congress who voted for this bill who are going to pretend they didn't know about all the bad things that are going to happen because of it. So when a private prison camp opens in your town, when a dreamer...
Time has expired.
I yield the gentlelady an additional 30 seconds.
So when a private prison camp opens in your town and they say, we didn't know this was going to happen, know that they did, and they voted for it. When a dreamer is disappeared from your classroom, when the President of the United States destroys what is left of the Constitution as he's announced in this attack on birthright citizenship, they will all say, we didn't know this was coming. And I want the American people to know that they did. This vote represents it.
This is a stringent attack on the 14th Amendment that Donald Trump is launching, which only sets a scary precedent for where it could go from there again, what group could be susceptible next, and you don't want that to be you. You don't want to cheer for it while it's everyone else, and then you're out of luck when it's your turn. He's already went for birthright citizenship. Who knows how many people, I mean, if we did it retroactively, it would disqualify most of us. So who knows how many people going forward it will disqualify. Republicans are now attacking due process, starting with immigrants, sure, but who knows how far that can go. I mean, a big part of the 14th Amendment was protections for Black people first, not even immigrants. So if we're attacking this, like, what's the real motivational factor here, right? And they're talking about now private prisons, essentially camps where they can haul immigrants without trial and then subsequently deport them as ICE walks the street practically looking for trouble. I mean, we've already seen them harass a U.S. Army veteran. Imagine what they could do to even, like, I don't know, like a legal immigrant who just doesn't speak English, right? And think how quickly America begins to resemble Germany and the Gestapo. But hey, this is what MAGA voted for. And we were told we were fake news for calling Trump Hitler.